What if I told you that the very thing you're using to watch this video, your mind, proves that atheism is false? That your ability to think, reason, experience life isn't just evidence of his soul, but a direct pointer to the existence of God. Atheists claim that we are nothing more than complex biological machines, neuron firings, chemical reactions in the brain following the laws of physics. But there's a fatal flaw in that argument: consciousness, the fact that you are aware, that you have thoughts, desires, and beliefs. Today, we are going to break down why consciousness is one of the most powerful arguments against atheism and why it points directly to God. Alright, so let's start. What is consciousness? First, let's define what we mean by consciousness. Consciousness is your subjective experience of reality. It's your ability to think, to feel, to be aware of yourself and the world around you. Right now, you are not just watching this video, you are aware that you are watching this video. That's what makes you different from a rock, a computer, or even an artificial intelligence system. Now, materialists, those who believe everything is just physical, say that consciousness is just an illusion curated by the brain. But here's the problem. Illusions require a conscious observer. If consciousness is just an illusion, who is experiencing the illusion? Do you see the contradiction? Let me give you an example to make it easy. Imagine a robot programmed to say, "I feel happy." Does it really feel happy? No, it's just running a program. But you, on the other hand, as a conscious being, actually experience happiness. The mere fact that you feel emotions, rather than just process inputs and outputs like a computer, proves that consciousness is something more than just a physical process. Okay, so why can't consciousness just be physical? Here's the problem. Atheists and materialists claim that consciousness is just a byproduct of brain activity. They say your thoughts, they're just neurons firing in your brain. But here's where that explanation completely crumbles. First, science studies things from the outside. It can measure brain activity, it could tell you which neurons are firing, but it can't tell you what it's like to be you. Right now, science can measure what happens in your brain when you taste chocolate, for example, but it can't experience the taste itself. There's something about consciousness that is beyond just physical measurement. For example, think about colors. Imagine a person who's been blind since birth. You can describe the color red to them in terms of wavelengths, frequencies, and scientific properties, but no amount of physical description can make them experience the color red. Consciousness is like that. It is an experience. It's not just a set of data points. Second, there's intentionality, which is the mind's ability to be about something. Your thoughts are about things. If I think about a cat, my thought is about a cat. But here's the problem. Purely physical things don't point to anything beyond themselves. Like it's a rock. A rock just exists. It doesn't mean anything. If my brain is purely physical, so why do my thoughts have meaning? How does mere matter point to something outside itself? This is what philosophers call intentionality, and materialism has absolutely no answer for it. Let me give you an example to make it simpler. Take a book. The ink on the page has meaning only because a mind interprets it. If your brain was purely physical, then your thoughts would just be a chemical reaction without no meaning. But the fact that you can think about things, analyze them, and understand them means that your mind is more than just matter. A third point is free will and rational thought. If our thoughts are just chemical reactions in our brain, following the laws of physics like dominoes falling, then how can we trust them to be true? Because if atheism is true and all thoughts are determined by prior physical causes, then you didn't choose to believe in atheism or choose to believe in Christianity. It's just that your neurons reacted that way. But if that's the case, then why should we trust those neurons to be giving us truth? The very fact that we could think rationally suggests that our minds are not just physical machines. Take a calculator, for example. If a calculator is broken and always gives the wrong answer, you're just going to stop trusting it. You're not going to use it anymore. But if our brains are just machines running chemical processes, then how do we know that they aren't broken or giving us false beliefs? We can only trust our reasoning if our minds are grounded in something beyond just chemical reactions, like a rational soul. Okay, so how does consciousness point to God? Here's why. If materialism can't explain consciousness, what is the best explanation? God. Why? A mind behind the universe. Consciousness is not something you get by simply arranging atoms in a complex way. You could build a supercomputer with more connections than a human brain, but it would never experience anything. The best explanation for why we have immaterial thoughts, reasoning, and self-awareness is that our minds were created by another mind, God. Moreover, if we are more than just our brains, if we have true awareness, rationality, and free will, then it makes sense that we have a soul. And if we have a soul, then there must be a God who created that soul. If atheism cannot explain why you have an inner thinking, feeling, rational self, but theism can, then theism is a more reasonable explanation. So here's my challenge to the atheists watching this. Explain how consciousness, your ability to think, reason, and experience can exist in a purely physical world. If you are just atoms and neurons, why do you have a mind instead of just a brain? And for those who believe, and for those who already believe in God, I want you to see how powerful this argument really is. Consciousness is one of the greatest signs that we are made in the image of God, designed to think, to love, and to know Him. Atheism has no good answer for this, but Christianity does. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Join Daily Pursuit of Truth. I make videos like this all the time. And as always, keep seeking truth, standing firm in faith, and standing firm in the one who is truth himself. God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.